love you.
So we're live.
We're live. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Nerdy Up North podcast. It's a nerdy podcast and it's hosted by Northern Nerds. I am one of your hosts, Sam.
And I am Paul, and hopefully not sound like a demon if someone can tell me.
Paul.
I am Paul. I am Paul, yes. And we are joined by the ever beautiful, the wrestling goddess herself, the lovely Nikki, who has graced us with her presence, coming directly from a wrestling event where she may or not have been taken in the wrestling. So we might find out. See,
were you?
Not me, actually, not me, but a fellow fan did.
All right.
Oh,
very nice. So someone did anyone get busted open, or was it like a death match, or was it just like the nice friendly one there?
No, we had the Purge.
Right.
Oh.
It's of Pro today, and it was the introduction of the hardcore title.
All right.
Oh.
You just come and like get your weapons involved, and like so many different people came out, and then what a fellow fan who's well known in the British wrestling scene anyway, Charlie Carruthers, he actually got a pin.
Mm-hmm.
So he was technically hardcore champ because he's got 24/7 rules.
All right.
He was hardcore champion for like a minute, and then he got pinned.
Oh, unlucky.
Well done, Charlie.
Bless. So a little bit of rush putting everything together, but as everything that we do with Nerdy Up North, we always try and do our best. And like I say, if we're a few minutes late, we're worth the wait. It's always there. And the chat are freaking out as well because they've noticed, and Sammy's probably not seen it yet, there is a flying cow that keeps going past her head every so often. So
and Nikki's got a tornado going through hers.
Yes. But yes.
The cow.
But yes. So Sammy, do you want to do your wonderful disclaimer?
Yes. So, everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you'd like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us on the Facebook page, the Discord, or even the comment section where we can have an open discussion. But what we won't have is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong, because we can all agree to disagree in fandom. So, let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behaviour out of nerdism.
Yes, very well said. And also, that has been on the BBC. So I wonder, with tomorrow, because will Sammy get a second chance to say it on the BBC tomorrow as well?
Does people know what we're doing tomorrow?
I don't think so. I've not really said anything, so no. So yeah, spoilers.
Spoilers, everyone. We're going to be at the BBC studios tomorrow.
Yes.
I don't even know what we're doing.
No. Emma's asked us to go along. I know we're going to be live. So we're going to be live from, I think, 8:15 till 9 o'clock. I don't know what channel yet, but we will tell everyone. But yes, we're going to be talking about... She did mention there's going to be games. So we will be playing games live on the BBC, trying not to say fuck or bugger.
That's gonna be the interesting part. Just to point out, Lee, I'll keep it kind the day that you do.
Fuck you, Lee. There you go.
Exactly.
Don't you pick on Sammy. But yes. So do you want to do the thing that you haven't done for a while?
Well, you'd say that when I haven't been watching anything, but yeah, I will, because there's only the three of us in today.
Yes.
So, Nikki, Paul, are you been watching?
I'll go, because I'm going to try and find the name of it, because I've been watching this TV show on Netflix that absolutely blew my mind how good it was. And I don't
Yeah.
think many people actually know about it or have actually seen it about. Did anyone watch the movie Attack the Blocks?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like an urban tale where aliens come down and invade. This one, it's a Netflix limited TV show. I think there's about 8 episodes. It's called Supercell. It's
Oh,
basically
I've seen it advertised.
yeah, so it's basically a cross between Attack the Block, a cross between Misfits, and cross between like anything urban, anything. So basically, some urban youths start developing superpowers, and like say one of them's a drug dealer, one of them's like just a delivery man, and one of his on the first episode, his power is he goes to the future and he sees like the apocalypse, the world's ending, and he sees himself who takes him like teleports him to another place where he shows him his fiancée has died and the date she's died, and then sends him back to try and stop her from dying. So so it's quite interesting. Like it's got government conspiracies flying all over the place. There's loads of stuff going on, but honestly, the writing is so good. It was made by someone called Rapman. I don't know who Rapman is because I'm not all down with the kids and stuff like that. But
No.
but yeah, it honestly one of the best superhero things I've seen done in a long time.
Ooh, I did see it advertised. I add it to the list.
Added to the list, yes. But I very much enjoyed it. Nikki, what have you been watching other than like copious amounts of wrestling?
Wrestling, yeah.
I was gonna say, actually, I have been yesterday, day before. I always wait for her videos to come out. Now, it's not a movie or a TV show. However, it's a series. It's on YouTube called Coffee and Cults, and it's a really brilliant, in-depth like series. The girl who does it, she's called Ash. She's fantastic. And the episode she actually brought out this week is about Justin Timberlake. And basically, she's gone through like all different kind of things. So like Buffy, like all the kind of behind the scenes stuff. That 70s show must be one of the ones that I watched, and I was like, what the hell? But she's just done one about good old JT, and it's really interesting because she has a lot of insider knowledge as well, because like myself, she's worked in TV and stuff, and so she's worked with a lot of these people and she's heard a lot of things. But yeah, it's she's really great, and so I've been watching her this week because I missed a couple.
Oh, that's cool. Is she in the agreement that he's a creep?
Oh yeah, you honestly, if you watch it, you don't. It's like
because he's not a nice person.
Oh God, no.
Well, as long as we're on the same page, that's okay.
Coffee and Cults is where she exposes and discusses and really
I like this.
She's really detailed as well. So like the Buffy one and the that 70s show one was horrifying because obviously you've got all the Scientology stuff that comes into that, and it wound up being a really long one.
All right.
Yeah, interesting. That's just on YouTube.
Yeah. I'll pop the link out. I always do a little tweet out whenever I'm watching to try and get more eyes because she details so well. She's great.
Yes, let's start trying to upset the Scientologies as well, because like I say, I've done it a few times, and there's always been like a helicopter fly over us after I've said it. So it is the weirdest cult that is out there, the stupid Scientology twats as well. So yeah. Yes, come for me, you Tom Cruise loving bastards. Probably Lee is one of them as well. But yes.
Well, yeah.
So, so what about you, Sammy? Have you watched any? Oh, bless him. Did he see the video he put on TikTok today? Like anyone?
It was so cool.
Anyone who follows TikTok, because I don't know how TikTok works, but anytime like a video pops up that Lee's involved in, I have to look at it because Lee tortures his missus. So he did a little advertisement today for Twister, and unfortunately, I didn't have the time to do anything with it today. Otherwise, it would have been hilarious. He basically drew a picture of a Twister going along, like saying, "Oh, it's a bit blowy." Then he got his lovely Bex, the beautiful woman she is, to do a little cow model, and she went, "Oh, it's good to see someone getting a blowy," and bless her. So yes, Poor little Bex.
She puts up with so much. Yeah, Bex puts up with so much shit. I hope she knows how much we love her.
Yes, she's my
We
favorite.
really do.
Yes,
she's one of my favorites too.
Right.
Lee, not so much. No, but the video was. I'm only joking, Lee. I'll stop now. The video was so funny, so funny. What have I been watching?
Yes, what have you been watching, Sammy? Anything that you can discuss during like live broadcasting, or?
Very fucking little actually. Because I am keeping on top of the stuff that I need to watch. But what I did watch that was out of that placement was I watched a couple of episodes Homicide in LA or LA.
Oh
Homicide?
yeah, I caught the Phil Spector one. What a fucking nutcase!
How did nobody know he was a creep? How did nobody think to themselves, look at that man?
To be fair though, they all knew it, but it was like, yes, he has money. Yes, he can buy.
He has power.
That's the problem. He can buy, and this shows you that court case how scared like the DA and the attorneys were scared to prosecute him because of what happened with O.J. Simpson. Like, say, only a few times, but that was quite an interesting case as well.
It was really interesting. What they were saying is that the LA DA hadn't been able to successfully prosecute a celebrity in 40 years. And it wasn't like OJ was obviously the one that tilted everything over the edge because it was so big. But then you think about all the other ones like Michael Jackson. Couldn't the DA couldn't prosecute him. So yeah, it was a good episode. The second one's really interesting because that's all about the murder of a very famous drag racer, like drags. You know, the cars.
Right, not the RuPaul kind, no.
No, not that kind. Yeah. But like he was huge in America, and his family, by all accounts, from what they were saying, he was just an absolute sweetheart. And him and his wife, unfortunately, got murdered. But it was just how the DA pieced together, the fact that and who actually ended up doing it as well. Like it was crazy. So that's the one thing that I've watched. Look, my other time has been reading.
Reading, yes.
If anyone has been watching me on TikTok, I have fallen heavy into book talk.
You found book talk, yeah.
Yeah, I found book talk.
God,
Did you see the influence it had on me when I went to Waterstones the other day? I have bought all sorts that is like recommended by book. Oh, I am in. But what I'm starting with is a book that I was given by my best friend for my birthday, and it's Call the Midwife. Because I'm a huge Call the Midwife fan. And the book, oh my gosh, it's so interesting.
Yes, listeners or watchers, Sammy is this old. Yes,
I am. Yes, but the interesting parts are it has a lot of stories that are resembled with a show. But what I found so clever is how the show writers have taken her stories and mixed them into the show so differently, but so the same. It's just so clever how they've done it, and learning all about nursing in the 1900s. Did you know that nursing was frowned upon as a profession by women? It was a disgraced occupation to have, and they give it to people with low intelligence because it was like they'll just listen to what we say and they'll do. But yeah, nursing, midwifery.
But that's just what I want looking after is someone with low intelligence. But yeah,
but that's not how. But that's it though. They thought the doctor is king. Doctor is, the doctor is the king. So why do we need a nurse? Why do we need a midwife? This doctor should be able to do everything, and they really look down upon it. But such an interesting book. But yeah, I've fallen hard on book talk. God damn it. My bank account's not going to know what's fucking hit it.
Bless you. But yes, so we are joined this evening to talk about a very interesting movie, shall we say? This was again one of Sammy's picks, I believe, because we're still on the birthday celebrations for Sammy. Because not only does she get a day, she doesn't get a week; she gets a month. So Sammy is throwing her weight around and getting the power-hungry person that you don't see behind the scenes when she throws abuse and like say death stares that she's giving me now.
That was a loving stare. It's doesn't coincide with the release of Twisters that's come out this weekend. We thought we'd pay homage to the original, to the OG, to the summer blockbuster of 1996.
Yes.
Which is Twister. And I have for you lucky people the taglines. Hold on to your drawers.
Is that the tagline, is it?
I wish it was. That'd have been quite good, wouldn't it? The first one is quite tame. The dark side of nature.
Right.
Don't breathe. Don't look back. I don't quite get that one.
Why don't breathe? Is it like taking your breath away? Are we having another Top Gun moment? Take my breath away.
I don't get that one. Next one. The next one is go for a ride you'll never forget. You'll fucking die. It's not a case of you'll ever forget. You're gonna die if you get into that. And the last one is the beautiful yet destructive side of life.
I like that one, but that sounds like something like I would like David Attenborough to read it out.
Yeah, yeah. My Macam tones don't really do it justice, does it?
So, with this coming out in 1996, and with me being an old fart, I can remember going to see it at the cinema. Nikki, what's your earliest memories of this movie? I know when I asked you to come on there, you said you were quite deeply disturbed by this movie.
No, this movie traumatized me. I was 10 when it came out. I don't think I saw it at the cinema.
Right.
I think I saw it on TV. I'm not sure where I saw it, but yeah, when it was one of those that it just kept popping up. But yeah, I didn't get to see that at the cinema, unfortunately.
Right. So did you see it on like VHS, or was it like a TV job?
I saw it on VHS, but my first experience of this movie was a bloody ride.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Tell the story about the ride, yes.
So it's Universal Studios in Orlando. They have Twister, or they don't have it anymore.
They had it, it's gone.
I know. It's been replaced with something awful as well, I think.
Jimmy Fallon?
But that's the thing, though, because it wasn't a ride, it was an experience, though, wasn't it? It was called the Twister Experience.
Yeah, because you weren't sat down on anything.
No.
But so I remember, but I'm about 10, so still quite young. And the queue for it alone traumatized me, because the queue has got all this, all these like bits of like chairs and dolls and debris and stuff, and they've all got tags on them, and it has like on the tag it's a label, so, like tornado, what date the tornado was, where this tornado was based. This is all apparently people's just shit that's just blown around in a tornado. And then they take you into this little room, and then they play this big dramatic video with the main characters from Twister, but they're like really telling you and really going in on how bloody dangerous and horrifying. So this whole time I'm like, we're about to go in. And as you're there, as you're in the queue listening to this wonderful little like pre-death warning like of how horrible freaking tornadoes are, sirens start going off. It's like, oh quick, everybody go out, we've got to go this way, into a scene, and it's the scene with the diner sign and everything. So it's kind of like that scene, and you all they stand you on a platform, and you get to stand and watch all hell break loose and hold on for dear life as a tornado rips through, things blow up, and you get dropped. And I was just
terrified. But that's always the thing with it, what intrigued us about like the parks in America, because let's be honest, in the UK the health and safety like levels are quite high. In America, I don't think the health and safety regulations are as high.
My house.
Because there's two rides that scared the life out of me when I went to Universal. One was the Twister, just simply because of how close the objects come to you, how hot the fire hits, and like the sparks and everything almost like flicker past you. I'm like, how the fuck have they passed this? And also the Mummy ride, because the Mummy ride, you go under the tunnel, and then there's a flame like come over you, and you feel the flame on your skin, and it's like, how the fuck is this passed? How is the other went? Oh yes, this will be okay. No one's going to get hurt or damaged in this thing. But the Twister one, I'm sure someone must have put a claim in there, because like,
well, see, now it's a land of litigation, so they go out of their way to get it as like on the dot. as close as you can legally get people.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if anyone gets hurt, that's on them.
Yeah.
That's on them. They move forward, they move backwards. That's on them.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say Jaws, to be honest with you, Paul.
Jaws, but Jaws was the same.
Me as well, and the fire and
the fire and the smell.
I would never say Jaws scared us because I just wanted to jump in and cuddle the big Brucey, the shark there. But
Brucey, give a cuddle. My most scariest ride at Universal was King Kong.
No, that was terrifying. No.
So only because I've been on King Kong and been around the whole ride while the full lights have been on. So we got on, and this gentleman could not get the bar over himself.
No.
And the ride had to be restarted for them to get the bars up, but we had to go around for them to be able to restart it. The poor guy at the front had to pretend, don't look over here, don't look at that giant monkey over there. You should have seen the size of that thing. It was fucking huge. And then
that's not the first time Sammy said that, by the way, just to say that.
And then they got round, and then this poor guy had to then go back, pick his script up and be like, right guys, we're going on a tour now. And I was like, oh wow, yay. My first experience, I had to double check with my parents today because I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember if because I went to Florida from the age of 15 up until I was 21. So I've experienced the Twister experience many, many times over. And I couldn't remember if we watched Twister because of the ride or before the ride.
Right.
And my dad was absolutely adamant we seen it beforehand because my mom would not be able to get the references when we got in there, and she knew them straight away.
Yeah.
So then I proceeded to find the point of view on YouTube and send it to my dad, who was so happy to watch the point of view of someone walking around the ride. And oh my God, you are so right. The detail in that house is ridiculous. I don't think as a 15-year-old walking around there, I fully appreciated what it is I was looking at.
Yeah.
Because that was a movie set. That wasn't just a ride. That felt like a movie set.
Yeah, it was really impressive.
I do find it interesting as well because, like, as Nikki said, the ride itself is scary. The movie has scary tendencies, but I think when this movie came out, and Nikki will probably attest to this as well with her being living in Manchester or down south, the weather and stuff did actually take a little bit of a turn. Like in the UK, there was things that's we've never experienced before. Like there was earthquakes. I know when Manchester got hit with a little earthquake, and there was even like small tornadoes like in Preston and stuff like that. So these were the things that was hitting the news. Then this movie came out, and as I said,
they're real.
Yeah, and like when you're thinking of like at the scope you see this movie as well, like the special effects that they did back then. Like fair enough. Again, if I'm going to be ultra critical, there's a few ropey shots here and there, but that's 1996 that they're talking about.
It's 96, that's right.
Yeah.
Now, this is a movie of practicality.
Yes.
There is 95% practical effects, and 5% is the tornadoes.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. The director.
So so just before we move off that point as well, just so we don't upset Kelly in the chat. The cow was CGI, Kelly. That was not a real flying cow.
That was, let's make that very clear. That cow was perfectly fine and perfectly computerized.
Yes.
But yeah, the director is Jean de Bont. Wow. What a fucking crazy person this man was. This movie it has the names of all names attached to it. You have, as producers, Spielberg. You've got Kathleen Kennedy, Walter Parks, Laurie McDowell, and Gerald Moulton, who are all executive producers. You have some big fucking Hollywood names attached to it. And they chose Jean de Bont to direct this movie, who, by all accounts, really put his cast and crew to the limits. When you see the tanker being thrown in the air and smashed on the ground, that's actually happening. He did that. He did a lot of things without pre-warning people because he generally didn't know what he wanted until he saw it. he punched a cameraman because he missed a shot,
Right.
to where his cameraman and the crew went, fuck this, and they walked out.
Right.
The whole camera crew, everyone on set just went, nah, we're not having this, not having that. So they had to replace it, have another crew come in to finish off the sets. But what you get out of that madness is this absolutely amazing movie.
Yeah.
So, and again, I enjoyed this movie more as a kid than I did as an adult. And I know it sounds weird saying this, because everything about this movie is great. Like, the cast is absolutely phenomenal, and we'll talk about the cast. But the one thing that did not shock me, but take us a bit by surprise when I watched it again yesterday, is how much of an assault on the senses this movie is. Because like, my lovely wife had to take a hearing aid out as well. I probably just let out. Sorry, Nick. I've just told everyone you wear hearing aid. Sorry. Basically, because the noises in this movie just went through her too much. Like the shattering, the sheer volume. Because again, we didn't probably experience this back then when we got the TVs. Like, if you're looking on like the big fat tube TVs without surround sound and stuff, so we just basically got flat noise. Now with like all the modern technology, hearing it properly, it blows your mind. Like, literally, we kept on spent like most time watching the movie either turning it up or turning it down, just so we can like get through the film as well. So that experience as well. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's kind of like it takes the whole experience to a different level.
It does. I didn't actually watch it on my 75-inch.
I
watched it on my normal telly with a cooling thing in the background. So I was like, oh, I really am feeling this breeze here. But do you know what the sound was for the Twister?
No.
Please tell me, because I've been trying to figure it out all day.
It's a camel.
It's a camel.
Small animal.
It's a camel.
Right.
What you hear? I thought was so cool. Just to go back to the
so basically, the camel was the noise for the Twister. Was it like the camel going, or was it a camel farting to blow wind?
No. Or a camel making that noise, and it's slowed down and sped up, and that's a camel. That is a camel as a Twister. But directors. So we got Jan de Bont as the actual director. However, Spielberg really wanted to do this himself.
Right. Not surprised.
I generally feel we would have had a very different movie if Spielberg was attached to it. Not in a bad way.
Would have like dinosaurs coming in chasing after the tornado or something. Yeah.
Potentially. That's what saved the day.
Right.
The T-Rex came in and took the F5 out. And there was a few other directors who were interested as well. Some really good names here. And I don't know how their names attached to this would have changed things. First being James Cameron.
Right. That would have been interesting.
It would have been dark.
Yeah.
And we would have had like a dark
Everyone
movie.
would have died. Yeah.
Yeah. Tim Burton.
No.
Yep.
No. Sorry, no.
Tim Burton. And finally, Robert Zemeckis.
I would have liked that.
I think Zemeckis would have done an amazing job.
Yeah.
I think him and Spielberg together, because with him being executive producer, I think that would have been magic.
Yeah.
But then you get Jan de Bont actually signed on to Twister because he left Godzilla over creative differences. Right. And that's how we got the job.
Oh.
Lucky us.
It's an interesting one, because when you think about Twister as well, like, you always think of it as like good memories, but you don't think of it as a huge movie. Like, if you think of like the type of movies that came out, like Independence Day, Armageddon, like if you think about like action blockbuster movies, Twister's kind of like, it feels like it's like the Bastard Stepson, that kind of like people kind of like, oh yeah, I enjoyed that movie, but it's never really held in like high regards, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I always class it as it's a Sunday afternoon disaster movie.
Yeah.
This film always leaves me with warm and fuzzies before starting the movie, ending the movie. I feel on cloud 9 as I'm watching it. Even today, I was like, this is one of my favorites. I absolutely adore this film.
Yeah.
I've got so many facts on this, by the way. So,
but before we start
please
going
tell
into
us to fuck off if I'm getting too much.
That's fine. Before we start going into the facts, let's talk about the cast, because the cast in this is unreal. Like, if you look at it from like bit part to the gang to everyone who's involved with like the main movie side, we've just got bona fide stars and performances as well. Like going from Carrie Ellis as the bad guy, shall we say, or like the smarmy scientist that's like
who brought Jonas?
Bloody Jonas.
Who brought Jonas?
And then like Philip Seymour Hoffman playing a complete different role to what we've seen before as well, just being so much fun and so much joy. And then like I'll see if I get a name right. I'll call a star from Lost Boys who does not like you wouldn't even recognize her as being like that, like in the same movie as Lost Boys as she is now. Like whoever told her to cut her hair short needs to have a word with themselves, because that was a bit of a like it didn't do her justice, to be fair.
We'll call her Melissa because I can't pronounce her actual name. Jamie Gertz. Gertz. We'll call her Melissa.
I'm gonna attempt
it took me forever and a day to realize that was Star. The one thing that gave it away was when she said, "I know how to find my way home." Yeah. That just something about that line and how calm she was in that moment. I was like, "Oh, I see it now." Okay.
Yeah, you could see it in her eyes, but the accent and everything kind of like taking it all out there. What did you think of like the main two, like the stars of the show, Bill Paxman and Helen Hunt, as like kind of the heroes? Because they were the like tentpole thing, but would you class them as like blockbuster names to be attached to a movie like this?
Well, that is such a great segue into one of my facts.
Right.
Because Helen Hunt wasn't going. The studio didn't want her because she wasn't a big Hollywood name.
Yeah.
So she wasn't a blockbuster star.
No.
And Bill Paxton is a second choice.
Right, okay.
Because the original choice is someone who we would be talking about this movie in a very different fashion if he actually did it, was going to be Mr. Tom Hanks.
All right.
He was the original Billy, the original Bill, and he had to drop out, and it literally Paxton. Well, there's a laundry list of people who were kind of like in the names, like Mel Gibson, Kevin Costner, Dennis Quaid, Travolta, Richard Gere, Cusack, Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage would have been interesting. I think out of that list, the only other one I could see playing it like seriously would be Mel Gibson, because he has that kind of like craziness, or like almost like the Switch. Like Bill Paxman, it was perfect casting for the role, because you don't want someone too clean cut. You want someone on the edge. You want someone that's like, as you said, this is the guy that when he's pissed throws a fucking bottle of Jack Daniels at the tornado.
I wish we saw that.
Yeah.
I wish there was some flashback scene where we saw it. But with that list of names, like it continued with Bruce Willis, Val Kilmer, Kurt Russell, and Michael Keaton. That's action. That is like pure action movie. So like, what direction were they going in to have their names?
Yeah.
Then Tom Hanks, then Bill Paxton. Like,
Tom Hanks would have been too clean cut, though. That's the thing. Like, I couldn't see Tom Hanks like leaving his fiancée to go with the woman who he's meant to be, but again, like having that torn side of him where he's like, oh, this is my good life now, but I want to be into the danger zone, like living like thing where Bill Paxman had that kind of like craziness where you saw that glint in his eye. Like as you said, Mel Gibson would have the same type of like approach, I would think, but someone like Tom Hanks or even like Dennis Quaid possibly, but again, Kevin Costner would be fucking awful. I'm sorry.
It's too much. I think with Mel Gibson, it'd be too intense, far too intense. With Tom Hanks, it wouldn't be as intense.
Mhm.
And I think Paxton is just like the right person, right in the
He's the
middle.
middle ground.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was actually tempted for at some point to break out into the speech that Paxton gives at the beginning of the ride. When he says, "Hey, I'm Bill Paxton. And did you know?" And when I told my mum, she was like, "You can't." I was like, I'm so tempted to go and write that down word for word and read it out. It's the funniest shit I have ever heard.
The whole thing's so dramatic.
But
And
Brilliant.
have you seen the look? So you've got two screens, and you've got Bill Paxton talking on one,
Okay,
Helen Hunt talking on the other, and they look at each other, and the way they kind of look at each other for some reason just made me laugh a lot because I was like, nobody's there. They're not looking at anyone.
but
I was so tempted to do that speech.
Yeah, Helen Hunt lends a lot of gravity to this role as well. I think she gives a lot of realism as well. It's like like she is a beautiful woman as well, but there's something like quite normal about her, if that makes sense. And again, I'm not saying that as a negative or a thing. There's a realistic value she gives.
Yeah.
If you got someone that just looked out of the box, so like a Nicole Kidman or someone that was just absolutely stunning, it wouldn't translate as well, because you wouldn't say, "Oh, I can't see her in that situation." Like, I totally saw Helen Hunt being this deranged person that's been obsessed with tornadoes for taking her father. Like, that kind of like person in that role just fits so perfectly with her. So that was one of the casts I think that got spot on with this.
The Plain Jane works perfectly. Like, because it doesn't. Joel has got such a great story throughout all this. With the death of her father by an F5 that obviously has sparked a career in meteorology, to where she needs to find out what happened to him. That's all that's essentially what she's looking for, is what happened to him. The science that comes with it is just part of her job. That's not the real reason why she's there. And I love following Jo from start to finish on this. But I love the relationship between that gang.
Yes,
I want to be part of that gang.
It looks so fun.
It's when from the first meeting them, you just want to be amongst it, to when they're all in the cars and every single one of them has their own music playing.
Yeah.
And it blends into one, and it is just, I love it. I want to be. I'll read the maps. That's how much I want to be part of this game.
Don't fold them.
Yes.
Roll the maps.
Rabbit is wise. Rabbit knows. Rabbit. But yeah, like if you think about it, like, everyone plays a part in that gang. Everyone's got the rules. Everyone does the job to the T. And as you said, Nikki nailed it with one word: fun. They absolutely love what they're doing, and it's like he's not like the leader in them, but he's kind of like the unofficial like person that like kind of like that you want to follow is the Philip Seymour Hoffman's character, like Dustin. Everything he does in this is just. He's so kind-natured, and he's just I know it sounds really weird. He's just got a beautiful spirit about him.
So clever.
Yes.
So clever as well. He comes across as so funny and fun-loving, but at the same time, he is so fucking intelligent. I actually was, when I was watching it, I took my notepad in with us because I was like, if I can write stuff down as I'm going. There's one scene I have never seen before. I have never noticed this until today. When you first meet the gang and Melissa is talking to Dusty, and as they're walking back to go up to Jo and Bill, he's holding her hand. He's got a hold of her hand and he's walking her across the grass. And I had to pause it and was like, I have never noticed that before. And that just takes Dusty to a whole new level for me.
Yeah. He really takes his job that he's clearly he feels he's been given to look after her very seriously, because I know I watched it today while I was getting ready to go to the show, and I noticed the hand holding that he was doing. He does it throughout, and also you know, when she gets out of the car and she's like just clearly traumatized, she's like he just goes up and grabs her face and he's like, that was awesome, that was awesome. But the way he like he grabs her face, is very much a, hey, look at me, it's fine, you're fine. But he's still like being very dusty about it, like, that was fucking awesome, but in a really reassuring, beautiful way. And she seems to really, and considering she's like a psychiatrist herself, like she really seems to just like, okay, this guy's telling me everything's fine, so I believe it. Like she, at first she's like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
By the end of it, it's almost like she's looking for him for reassurance. In a way. She clearly calms her down, and I think that little kind of, I love him so much.
No, and I think I think a lot of it is like human interactions. That's where the other team kind of fails. It's very robots and very like process driven and again, not to slag off the movie in any way, like, but there is a lot of movie magic in this thing. Again, it's a blockbuster about tornadoes and like the survivals. Like, I love the science aspect, but the bit that makes us roll my eyes a little bit is Bill Paxton's character, Bill. Funny enough, where he has the power to read. He has the power to understand and read weather situations just by failing. And I was like, oh God, we've got a weather walker or a weather watcher, whatever he's called. Like, it's again, they're taking all the scientific because they've got all the equipment, and I find that aspect interesting. But it's like, we've got to turn this way. It's like, just because he feels it, it's like, oh, come on.
Because he's got.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying this to Paul before we came on. This movie is a lot of fact and fiction because the science that they are dealing with is real life science. It's actually been tried and tested. But the fiction is obviously that side of it.
But it's just like, just all of a sudden he's like, there's a wind, and he looks like I'm sorry though, that everyone fucking experiences a wind. There's a change. It's like, shit, there's something.
Is he Karen from Mean Girls?
Starts feeling the boobs and yes.
It's gonna rain. Do you know how you mentioned earlier about Spielberg bringing in dinosaurs, and we all had a good laugh about it? Did you know who wrote this movie?
Oh, well,
it was Michael Kitchener.
Oh well, he does.
And his lovely wife, Anne-Marie Martin. If you guys are watchers of Monsters Up North, you will know that I brought this up in the prom night episode, because Anne-Marie Martin is one of the ladies in prom night, and she and her husband, Michael Crichton, or however you pronounce it, wrote this movie for $2.5 million. That's what they got out of this. When I said there was big names attached to it, I really
everyone's on it.
Yeah, I think
everyone has a piece.
I think because when we started like our blockbuster season, like talking about like the blockbuster movies, the 90s were huge for the big blockbuster set pieces, the tentpole movies. Like, everyone wanted either it was all about like a end of the world or an alien invasion or something to do like with a natural disaster. These are the things that were coming out at the time and having big blockbusters or big. They weren't really bothered about awards or going towards thing. It was literally just in big spectacle, and this does that so well. And with the cast as well, like, you do get like certain aspects. As you said, you get things thrown at you that you do think, oh, fuck off. But other things, like, they do win you back with, is like the little scenes, like this Kelly said in the chat, the scene where they go to like the house to have breakfast, and they get
aunt's house.
Yeah, and they get
aunt's house. It's my favorite scene of the whole movie.
Same. I love it.
And it's like
I want that mashed potato.
They get the steak and eggs as well. That was always an American thing. Get steak for breakfast. I'm all for it. Please give me more. No wonder
she gives them a wedge of steak as well.
Yeah.
It's like, it's huge. We don't get that shit.
But when they talk about where the steak come from, sorry, Kelly, the cow disappears.
Oh, I love that line. It's like, wow, Meg, you've got a lot of meat. She's like, did you see my cows out front? No. That is, I actually wrote down my favorite parts of this movie. Meg's house by far is my favorite scene. Anytime you've got that gang together and they are just talking, I mean, the food aside, because that is just mesmerizing. The fact that just them sitting having a conversation, talking about their lives, their stories of them storm chasing. is probably more exhilarating to me than the actual tornado scenes themselves.
Yeah, and I loved when they start talking about the different tornadoes and the kind of, it almost goes on a little ride when that conversation, because it start off like really excited talking about, oh, this was a level 4. No, it was a strong level 3. And they take Bill's word for it. Notice nobody tries to like combat him and say argue.
No.
It's like Bill says
Not the
it's
weatherman.
Bill says it's this, and they take it as gospel. And then they lead up saying, "Oh, level 4," and then Melissa asks the question, "So has anyone seen a level 5?" And just the hush and the looks and the change in the room. Again, just performances that are just done absolutely amazing. Because something is so simple, but it gives you like goosebumps and kind of like a shiver down your spine, thinking, "Oh shit!" And then like you find out the story saying there's only one person that's seen it, and it's Joe. And I do love like the kind of comeback scene as well, because you get that breathtaking scene at the drive-in cinema where that just gets ripped apart, and that is done amazingly well. From like say the little set piece, it's almost like going back into the ride that Nikki was describing earlier. It's like going through that all over again. But then the realization of where that tornado is heading, and it's like having that conversation with Joe as well, like saying, I think the tornado is not like a natural thing. It's a live thing that's targeting something. It's like missing this person out, missing that person out, and going directly for you. It's that element kind of freaks you out and scares you a little bit. But then you realize it's good. Oh shit! It's going to where the gangs just come from, like the auntie that's basically there, and you think, and I know where Sam's brain went straight away. It's like not the auntie. It's like what's happened to the dog.
Yes.
Straight away.
Yeah. Yes, yes. I love Aunt Meg though. I love the actress who plays her. She is Aunt Meg. She is Grams in True Blood. I absolutely adore her. I love the fact that she's like making all these like metal like pieces of like elaborate art, and that I'm like, oh, what a life. Like I mean, living on Tornado Alley is not great, but wow, she looks so cool. I do love Aunt Meg, but yeah, I was very concerned about her dog.
Yeah,
I was very glad. I was so glad when Bill Paxton's like carrying this like golden retriever out the window. I was like, whoop, and then
straight
goes on a little journey.
But I always surprised me as well, because I know this probably is me talking shit about America a little bit. How poorly constructed and made their houses are. I know
they're made from cardboard.
Cardboard, prefab, like it's paper. It's paper mache. Like, there's not a great deal to it, but this is how they get them up so bloody quickly, and how elaborate they can have them as well.
But if you think about it as well, if you're thinking like, I know like cost and everything as well, but if you're living in a place that's called Tornado Alley, you would think you would construct something a little bit more sturdy. I think that's
a little bit more sturdy.
Yeah.
Well, you would. I mean, I feel like my house would withstand something because it's all brick. But yeah, I totally get what you mean. The production company actually bought 8 blocks of houses so they could flatten them.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. I remember,
Would
$10,000 per house.
I wonder if they could get away with that today. Like say in today's,
not for $10,000 per house, they wouldn't.
No,
but if they, like, could you imagine the uproar, especially like say in today's climate, saying film production company buys 10 houses and kicks out families just to knock them down. Like,
but this is I feel like, and I was talking to my mom about this earlier, this is proper movie making. This is like going to the 10th degree of getting the detail in there. There was another thing that I read which it sparked my eyes went straight to it, because I am so fascinated with this case. The cast and crew took some time out to go and help with the Oklahoma City bombing.
Right.
It took place right next to them, and they actually went and were part of the relief crew.
Fucking hell.
How fucking amazing is that? That they actually just forgot about themselves and what they're doing and their paychecks, and just to go and be able to be part of a relief team for one of America's biggest bombings of the 90s.
Wow.
It's crazy that they just put themselves in the line for that. But yeah, April 19th, 1995, Oklahoma City bombing. that kid, I don't know why. Timothy McVeigh, the fucking asshole that he is, absolutely interests the life out of us, but he does.
You're a weird creature.
I really am, because it all links into Waco and Ruby Ridge, and the whole thing is just so fucking fascinating.
I'm right there with you.
Thank you. At least I'm not alone.
I'm constantly obsessed, check like the same thing for different, yeah.
If she's not bringing up death, she's bringing up tragedies.
Yes.
Yes.
On a wholesome podcast.
Nothing wholesome about this motherfucker. It's fine. Going back to the movie as well. So what did you think of the actual premise, the idea of say, I love the idea of the science behind it, where they were going to try and get readings from within the tunnel. What did you think of the references using Dorothy and say that the kind of little ball things as well? Because I don't know about you, as soon as I saw them, I started cutting up cans and thinking I was going to create these little things as well.
They remind me of the little balls. The little things that are inside it, the sensors and stuff, they remind me of the machines you put 20p and you turn it, a little ball comes out with some shitty little toy in it. They remind me of them. So even since I saw it when I was younger, even now whenever I see those, I'm like, oh. See, makes me think of Twister.
I would with it being a movie as well, I would love them to have explained that a bit more, because it was just basically, oh, this is Dorothy, these are the little sensors and stuff. But what they didn't explain, and that's why when watching as a kid, I got a bit confused, because they're saying, oh, Dorothy needs to be weighted down, because they needed the actual machine and mechanics to capture the sensor, like the data from the sensors. So if that got destroyed or anything moved away, they wouldn't get the reading. So I didn't understand that. I just thought they had to get the balls in the air. I didn't actually realise at the time the actual Dorothy was the machine and the contraption the balls were being carried in. So I think that could have been explained a little bit better. But again, I've talked about, a movie that's within an hour and a half, 2 hours at the most, that need to get all these explanations. It wasn't a long movie.
It's a pretty quick movie.
I felt it was pretty quick today. I was like, oh, I'm nearly finished this, and it doesn't feel like it's even been on. I like the fact as a child that I could understand Dorothy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the.
As an adult, I'm kind of like, oh, I want to know more.
Yeah, because I'm kind of interested.
I want to explore more. It is really interesting. That is the factual part of this movie is the Dorothy machine, but the real machine is called Toto.
Right.
So that is the factual part of it. That is what science brings to this movie.
And one of with the type of movie like that, this is the end, climax of the movie is the thing that's always going to set it apart, or kind of the ride or die type moment in this movie. I think this hits everything that it needs to hit. There is aspects, again, that when they use movie magic, but it is done absolutely wonderfully. And again, it like Kelly was freaking out about the cow earlier. When I watched it back, the first thoughts I see is when they're running through the barn is all the horses. It's like, oh, hope them horses get out. And again, the movie's very clever with how it handles that. It actually shows you that the horses kind of running away. But how did you feel about how did you feel about the big set piece, the big bad tornado at the end? Because what was it, 2 miles, 2 miles wide or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
The F5, the finger of God.
The finger of God.
That sounds absolutely perverse.
But the whole build up for this scene as well.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say it was the big bad. That was, if you're going to kind of put it into simple terms, that tornado is our villain that we've been waiting for the whole movie. It's our final boss. So it's when it finally gets there, it's like.
In all, there is, I think, 8 tornadoes throughout this whole movie. The F5 is something of, obviously, wow. But what the tornado that makes me go, holy shit, that looks fucking unreal, was the sisters.
Right.
When you do have the cow scene and you see them, and that noise that it makes across the water, oh my God, talk about, what's the word I'm looking for? Sensory overload.
Yeah.
That kind of that kind of got me, but in a good way. I was like, it's like the Dolby effect, the Dolby sound at the beginning of movies where it goes, whoa. I love that noise. That's what it reminds me of, that love.
But yeah, like all the different twisters that have their own like impacts and stuff like that from like the small ones. But like as you said, the build up to the final one is just so well done, where they're going down the road and the thing like all the like the kind of like the gear and everything that they've got is telling them saying the tornado's right in front of us, it's coming at us, and they're like, we can't say anything. There's nothing there, and they're saying, well, it should be touching down, and they explain it's like coming over the hill. So it's like, it's the anticipation aspect that kind of leads you in. It doesn't just like throw down straight away. So when we see it, you get that like, oh my shit moment, and again, Bill tries to help like Jonas and the arsehole group, and they're kind of like end is quite fitting as well because they're not listening. They're not because, to be honest, like Bill and all them, even though they're quite aggressive towards Jonas, they've still tried to help. And the fact that like when there was an accident, they just drove past and just ignored them as well, that was quite telling to what type of people these were. But then you get like the failed attempts with like some Dorothys, and then how they work out how it's going to happen. But that's where you like a lot of movies would have ended saying like having the balls go up and they're like getting excited and saying, "Oh yes, we've got the data," and you could have been like, nice little happy ending there. But no, then you see the tornado turn and come straight at them, and it's like, whoa, how do you run away from a 2-mile tornado?
It didn't just come at them, it bloody shot at them. Did you see what went through that window and into his face? For me, as like a young'un, that's kind of graphic, that mind's going. I felt sorry for the driver, because clearly he felt like a good guy. He wasn't Jonas, especially when Jonas turns around, and I love Kylie. But when he turns around and says, if I wanted your opinion, I'd give you it. Like, fuck you. I would have pulled the car over straight away and went, deal with that bitch yourself.
Yeah, he questions Jonas a few times, so he definitely has more of a moral compass than Jonas does, for sure. Poor guy.
Jonas. Fucking Jonas. What he would have been hit with while he was in that scene would have been a jet engine Boeing 707 blasted in his face, because that's what they use for the wind.
Right. I was wondering. I didn't see that. Yeah, I was going to say I didn't see a plane getting taken out this time.
No, because it's right behind the tornado.
Right.
And that's what's pushing the wind. Yeah. To be honest, I've got one more fact. That for last. That's my last one. I could just see it out the corner of my eye, and I was like, "How do you fit Boeing 707 in here?" Right about now.
And I want to ask the question as well: how strong is that leather straps at the end?
Like, me, is it strong?
So this tornado was.
I want that belt.
Was literally taking everything off. Was taking nails out of basically wood. It wasn't just taking, like, say, the wood apart. Literally nothing could withstand. But these leather straps were the strongest leather straps ever known to humanity. So to make these leather straps, there must have been some of the strongest piss to ever piss on it. Because that's how they used to make leather back in the day. Yeah.
So they used to toughen it up, right?
Yeah, so toughen it up to piss on it, right?
The piss?
Yeah.
I ain't pissing on my belt.
Someone else already did.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's okay. That's okay. Oh, the more you know.
So I don't think they still do it anymore.
Oh, no, don't. That's how they get with, like, tanning the hide and stuff like that.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, I'm learning things today. Yeah, that's
Sammy
fun.
After this is going to smell a leather bag and smell other belts to see what's been pissed on.
I genuinely only own one real leather item, and it is my Vivienne Westwood bag.
Oh, right. I thought you were going to say like a leather face or something. Like only one leather face that was made from the victims of the last podcast. Yes,
I just sit and stroke it every night.
Lee's not really chatting in the chat. It's Sammy typing in Lee, because Sammy has killed Lee and took his face. Yes.
Don't give me ideas.
So Chris has said ginger piss is the best as well. So yes.
Oh well, good to know. Good to know. The scene that we've just been talking about with the barn that they go into, where she's like, "What kind of people live here?" And I'm like, "It's a fucking farm, pet." Yeah, that's what kind of people live here. Like, calm your tits.
Yeah.
There's one scene that I feel like we've kind of like we talked about but brushed over slightly, which is the cinema,
Yes,
the drive.
that's what I wanted to leave to the end. To be fair, because I'll be honest with you,
no, I totally get
that is the best scene in the movie.
Yeah,
type thing.
I totally get that. Anyways, where were we?
Yes. So yes, no, we're just saying how strong the lever straps off. We've learned that piss makes things stronger. So
all right, okay, that's where we're at.
So yes,
so, we're
so
on
next time we see the nerds, we're going to test the theory out and see if we can make them hardened nerds by pissing on them. So we're pissed on Gremlins. We're pissed on nerds.
Well, no, we haven't pissed on Gremlins because we daresn't.
No,
we don't know what's going to happen.
Too scared.
That's just getting them wet.
But yes,
exactly.
But as Kelly is screaming at us in the chat to start talking about, it's the Shining scene, which totally thrown me when I first saw this. I was like, why am I watching The Shining now? And it turned out I was watching it at the cinema. So yes.
Yes, that's true. That scene is so, what's the word I'm looking for? It really brings the fear level of what you're dealing with to a head. And it's one character in particular who gets the thing across his head.
Yeah.
That really, because he's so bubbly and so like upbeat, and he's always smiling, and he's, he's very much part of the team. Like when they're in Meg's house and Jonas is on the telly, he's the first one. I go, boo, turn him off. And he's so happy that he got this hose in his hand. He saved everyone. The hose is in his hand, and then boosh, he gets the head injury. That really kind of like brought me down to like a level. I was like, oh shit, these people can get hurt.
Yeah. They're not superheroes. No.
Yeah.
They're scientists. And
and they bleed.
There's another scene in this whole like cacophony of things that's going on as well that just breaks me down. Like I laugh, but I shouldn't laugh, but it's just like so ridiculous. It's the guy, I think, just get his name. His character's called Lawrence, but he's in Saving Private Ryan. You don't really see much of his character in this one, but he's like Jeremy Davis. He's called.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, his character, like when everything's kicking off, he decides to jump in the van and hide under the seat. And he's got himself wedged in, and Helen Hunt spots him and walks past and goes, "Come out!" And he goes, "No, no, no!" And she goes, "Come out!" And he goes, "Oh, okay." And it's like, we're there. He would, if he was terrified, he would be put up more of a fight and not willing. He would have to drag him out. But it was kind of like her to saying, "Come on," and he was like, "Okay,
come on, kiddo, get out the car." I wish that one was a little bit more impactful. I wish we saw more of Dusty in this scene as well, and how he was with it, because you've seen such a fun-loving side of Dusty. What's it like? What's Dusty like when it's serious? When we have to get serious?
He's the one that does like the cry for everyone to run, though, doesn't it? Or everyone to come, because like Helen Hunt and Bill's character spots it, and then she sees a thing, and he kind of runs to the thing and says, "Everyone come!" So he kind of does the rallying cry, and then you get Melissa just wandering about, going like being all ditzy and stuff. And it's quite heartbreaking when you see her, like say, having the full-on breakdown in like kind of the mechanics bit, and then you always like, because before this you've already had the kind of like her realizing that her relationship with Bill is kind of over with her playing with the ring, so it's kind of like indicating where her mind is at this moment, and it's kind of the realization that she has to let him go. But it's quite telling and quite it's quite sad, I think, that what she says as well is like, I'm not even that sad about it. It's like, oh yeah, it's kind of like heartbreaking a little bit as well, because I know there's been okay and understanding that something's not going to work or someone's going on, but you would think you would be, because this is someone who's you prepared to marry, you should be a little bit more heartbreaking than just saying I'm okay with it now.
They all do say at the beginning, though, like, "Oh, so soon." So I get the impression that they haven't really been like. I know he says there's only been her since you, but I don't know if we've got. Do we know how long they've been?
They don't mention it, but it does sound like it's a marriage of convenience.
So like, they're not even married. Yeah, it's like, oh, we just need to get married because he's getting a new job. And like several people even like, oh, you getting married? Like, oh, that's pretty quick. And obviously Helen Hunt's character still got her ring. She's still got obviously he sent them in December. I don't know what month we're in this point, but it doesn't feel like years have passed.
No.
So it feels like still quite an early relationship, which I think is probably why she's a little bit not as. And also, she's a couples counselor, sex therapist and stuff. So she works. I imagine she's probably a little bit like, okay,
yeah,
she's probably not.
She's probably been so grown up about it. We are like very like. Is that the normal way to react, or is that not the normal way? But yeah, it could be trauma. It could be just being a grown up about it and looking at what's right in front of her and saying, you know, this is just she's always going to be a problem. She's, regardless if he divorces her, she's always going to be lingering there. Do I really want this? Is it really worth it? And being really grown up about the fact and going, let's just walk away from this. It's fine.
Yeah, she's cut her losses. She found out throughout this as well that he isn't the person that he's clearly painted himself to be to her.
Yeah.
Because he even says, oh, there was an evil me, or whatever it is. He says, like, he used to do these things, but he doesn't exist, but he clearly does.
Yeah, he's right there.
And she's seeing this, and she's like, I don't know. I feel like part of it's probably thinking she's dodged a bullet. I don't actually know this dude. You know, I don't know him that well. So...
But it's quite interesting. But it's quite interesting though, because I said not knowing the dude. But is it one of them things like if you're in a certain environment, you'll act certain ways. So if he was taken out of their environment, like as you said, he probably was a bit more grown up and like more like say that build outside of the things. But when you put yourself, it's like fight or flight. Sorry, how you react, and people like say become stronger, or people like say crumble. And it's interesting to say, like, would he have survived without that element? Because some people just love the drama, love having that type of like kind of excitement in their lives, like adrenaline junkies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Would he have actually been able to maintain his life outside of that?
I don't think so. And that's kind of proven in this film. He's at the beginning when you meet Bill, he is ready to go off and be a weatherman. The minute he gets an opportunity to jump back in a van, he is there in a heartbeat. He didn't even have to think twice. He just got up and went. I don't think he would ever have been able to give up this lifestyle. And if he did, he would be lying to himself for the rest of his life.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's like not being your true self.
Like, from when they turn up, he's like, I'm not staying. I'm not staying. Yeah. And it keeps being like a little side comment he says when they're like, oh, welcome back. And he's like, I'm not back. I'm not back. And then he's like, oh, no, they can go off. And then she says, did she sign the papers? And he's like, yeah. Part of me's like, you left them, and you just knew subconsciously you'd have to chase after him anyway. So in actual fact, they're on a divorce paper chase while also on a storm chase. And that's how it begins for him, is like, oh, I'm just gonna go chase her and get these and then just like that goes right out the window, doesn't it?
So I know this is kind of like billed as like an action movie, but would you say it's almost like a romantic movie as well? Because it's like the relationship is still there.
Love triangle.
Yeah,
there's a love triangle going on throughout all this storm chasing, and then the science. In the middle of it is a love triangle between three people, and it's like how lovely that you could fit that into already a movie about tornadoes. Like
it's pretty like
it's very compact. It's very compact. I'm going to bring this up now because I don't want to end the podcast on a downer. Because we know that two people have passed since this movie. The one being the great Philip Seymour Hoffman and also Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton died in 2017. The Spotter Network choreographed 200 storm chasers to spell out BP on the GPS tracker to commemorate Bill Paxton on the day he died. It's for some reason, I think it's probably because Twisters is out. There's a lot of facts going on TikTok at the moment for Twister, and this was the one that came up. And to see it
Mhm.
It's beautiful. Like it actually made me tear up. And then Dan sent us it and was like, "Here's something for you for tonight's episode." And it's like, I already got it. I already got it down.
Oh, bless. It's nice that Dan's looking after you, though. So, like I say,
Yes, it
thank
is.
you, Dan, if you're watching. Bless you.
She's doing my homework for me. So yeah, they to honor him, they did this. This it's hard to describe without showing the picture. So if you want to see it, it is doing the rounds on TikTok, but it is just like a little blimp of like BP, and it's to honor him because he is such a huge fucking miss in the movie world, along with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
It's sad. We were talking about this on Monsters this week. It's so sad to think of a person who's had such a huge career already.
That's the crazy thing about
what else? What more could we have gotten?
If you think about Bill Paxman as well, because I know. Like, I probably did him a bit of a disservice earlier when I was saying he's not like a headline name that you would always see. But if you look in the type of like his movies that he's been in, like he's been in Aliens, Tombstone, Weird Science, Terminator, Apollo 13, like Near Dark, like just to keep like literally I could just keep going through his filmography and just naming banger after banger of top movies, like not just like little parts, like absolutely, like he's fought like a Predator, he's fought a Terminator, he's fought an Alien, like it's crazy. And his role in Tombstone, like honestly, that movie I don't know, like I say, not many modern people like cowboy movies and stuff like and westerns, but Tombstone is a fucking classic. If you want to see acting at top, Val Kilmer is unbelievable in that movie as well. But yeah, I don't think he probably does get the credit he kind of deserves.
He doesn't. In 2001, he directed a movie called Frailty with Matthew McConaughey. He starred in it as well, and Powers Booth's in it. Sorry, I can't say that without the word going into two. Going into one, Powers Booth is in it. It is, me and Anth watched it because it had Bill Paxton's name attached to it. He directed it, and we're like, interesting. Let's see if his, how he is on screen can go into directing. Holy shit, this movie is fucking amazing. Oh, we are going to go and watch it again because obviously I brought up the fact we're doing Twister, and the minute I mentioned it, Antoine, we got to watch Frailty again. It's such a good movie. He is a brilliant director. He's also he's excellent in it himself, and McConaughey it's not a change for McConaughey now, but for then, it is, if that makes sense. You wouldn't imagine McConaughey being in this movie at the time that it came out. You could imagine him being in it now, but not then. No. It's such a good film. But you are right. Like, I've never seen Tombstone, by the way.
It's one of, it will come up for a review soon. Don't worry.
Good. It's got
Kurt. It's like, and then this is going to sound really strange because Kurt Russell hasn't made a bad film. Let's be honest. It is in his top 5 performances.
Oh, really? Wow. It's always been one that I'm like, I need to watch. So this is why I love this podcast because it doesn't become a case of I need to watch. It's I have to watch.
Yeah.
So I like it when movies come up that I've not seen and I'm like, oh, great. I have to now watch this. And like the movies that we're going to be doing coming forward, I have to now watch them.
Certainly. But talking about films coming forward as well, because now the reason why we did this movie is because the sequels came out Thursday, was it? Was the released on Thursday?
Yeah.
So
this is the weekend opener.
Now I know me and Sammy, and I don't know if Nikki, you haven't seen the new one yet. Is that right?
I've not yet. No.
But you've done a little bit of like looking into it as well, because you said the new one has nothing to do with the old one, no connection.
Does it not?
No
connection. There's a little bit of homage, but there's no connection. No, you're not getting any special treats with any of the original cast being in it. I was telling Paul before we came on that it could be because Twister 2 has always been on the cards in people who are wanting it to be out, as in Helen Hunt. She's been working on a Twister 2 for years, getting to the point where she was just about to come out with it. It got shit canned, and then they released this one. So, and Bill Paxton, was the same. He'd been working on something for years in relation to Twisted 2. This movie is kind of like they've wanted to revisit it.
Mm-hmm.
How?
Yeah.
I don't know how. Where would we go with it? But I don't know. I've seen a lot of divide over the new one as well.
Yeah, it's one of them things. People are always going to go, well, it's not the original, it's not that. But again, we're in a modern society where things can be rebooted or rechanged. I think it has legs if you were looking to do like a Twisters TV show, like showing the storm chasers and how they go about and the science behind it. Again, that's me and me watching like things like Moonshiners and stuff like that.
You want all the background
watching all the background detail. I think that could be quite fun. But that's me and me Discovery and History head on being on there. So rating this movie out of 5. Again, we're using the Jake scale where you can't use points and stuff. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go to Nikki first because I think this is the first time she's getting to rate a movie as well. So out of 5, what are you giving this there, Nikki?
I am going to give it I'm giving it a 4. But the reasons why I enjoy the movie are probably so different to the reasons why you enjoy the movie, because for me it is a horror movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I have got a genuine phobia of tornadoes. So to me it's the most terrifying. I watched it today and there was multiple times where Mike probably even tell you I just like fucking hell God afterwards. Like I'm trying to just like
just looking away.
Well, to be fair though, we'll just have to
get God in me.
We'll just have to get you to move up north because like with you being a southerner and stuff, you'll be scared of them type of thing. Oh, bless her. I've not wound her up yet, so that's fine.
Oh, it's a good job she's got a sense of humour.
You fucking wait, son.
Bless you. But yes, so you're giving it a 4 out of 5. Sammy, what are you giving it?
Top 5s. 5s across the board. Yeah, this movie has I love the film from start to finish. I love the characters. I love the friendships. I love the story. I love the music, the score. I know we didn't talk about it. The score is absolutely amazing. But this has a lot of like nostalgia for me when it comes to my family. Like the amount of times someone would walk in a room and go, "Hi, I'm Bill Paxton."
Yeah.
Like little stuff like that. Like and it's all down to the ride, the film. And it's got to be a 5, solid 5.
Cool. Well, I'm going to give Nikki a bit of credit here as well. She's probably knocked my score up from a 3 to a 4, just for the horror aspect. Because yes, again, there is a few little eye rolling moments, and if I would love to see this movie without the Bill Paxton weather shaman being able to read the weather just by going, yes, there's going to be a tornado in 5 minutes. Did
Bill Paxton have a beard in this or not?
No, he didn't.
To be fair,
it's fucking hilarious if he didn't. He just like strokes his beard and goes.
I don't know if it's a thing. I don't know if he is, but like they say about people with autism. I have autism, and I can smell when a storm, like a thunderstorm, is happening. I'm like. I get a pain in my head and I can smell things different. So maybe he's just autistic and not said it.
I don't think that's I don't think that's an autism thing because that like when it's going to be a thunderstorm, it's a change in air pressure and stuff.
It's a magnetic change.
Yeah.
It's a magnetic change, and it's I can pick up on it. My senses are really heightened, and I can smell when. I can smell that when rain is just about to happen.
Petrichor.
Yeah. But I think the fact that he's like looking one way, it's in right. It's going to go left. It's going to go right.
Stroke your beard while you do it.
I'm not letting.
That's where his magic comes from.
I'm not letting him be autistic and have them magic powers. No, sorry, no.
Magic powers.
Like I said, fair enough. You can like say get change in weather pattern. You can like as you said. Headaches and stuff because air pressure, that is science. But just basically sticking a finger up his arse and saying, "Oh yes, it's going to come straight at us now."
He's just being a smug shit.
Yeah. I'm not that, but as you said, with the horror aspect, because nothing's more scary than nature when it kicks off. Because literally, it can happen anywhere, and that aspect is more scary than most bullshit like things that we get. So that bit where I'll say I'll give it more, and I'll accept I was going to be a little bit more harsher
You're going to
than.
be harsh
Yeah,
on
so
Twister.
yeah, so I'll probably give it a 4 out of 5. But the only, as I said, I can't give it a 5 because there is elements to the movie I would change. Not saying thing, but just for my taste and stuff like that. But yeah, but yes, so that is our little
Ditty on
just a
Twister.
little blown away there. But yes,
Ooh.
so before we start getting on to promoting our stuff, so Nikki,
Yeah.
we know you're a busy beaver, so promote some of the shit that you're up to, Trouble.
Yeah. Let the people know.
Because we
Half of the time I don't.
Because we love you being on here. We love like all the other stuff that you do. If you didn't know, Nikki is the wrestling guru of the North. Even though I told her a southerner there for a second.
She is a northerner.
She, like say, has got the finger on the pulse. She runs her own Discord. Like say again, we'll post links on how to find it, like for the wrestling chat. But tell us a bit what you're up to, because I know you were on a podcast as well, because you're in demand now, Nikki. People are wanting to see you more.
Oh my God, Nikki.
I know. People are coming asking me to talk. But yeah, I've been joining the HCW show, talking about, so I should specify, I kind of watch all wrestling. So it's like WWE, AEW, New Japan, GCW. I'm watching everyone and the Brit Res and stuff. So I don't do the tribalism, oh, this one's better. So on HCW, I go and talk with them about NXT, which doesn't get enough love. And so I'm going to be doing some more work with them, creating some lists and some fun videos. Cool. And then the Damn It Vacant podcast, every time there is a Sov Pro show, I am on their next show with them reviewing Sov Pro, so I'll be doing that. And then what else are we doing?
You're on Twitch?
Yes, thank you for reminding me. This is why I'm so bad. I'm like,
he's on it.
What am I doing? Yes, we've started the Twitch back up, so we're going to try and make a weekly thing. But I'm never going to give a specific day. It's just never going to be Mondays, because there's like 4 other wrestlers who have their Twitch streams. I don't want to.
And there's a monster podcast on a Monday as well, so yes.
I was just going to say, if you give me a minute, Paul. And then also I like to sit and watch the Monster Up North. So
Wow.
Yes.
I'm not doing podcasts on Mondays because I'm watching monsters. But yeah, me and Mike are trying to do some Twitch stuff as well, especially at the minute, because the New Japan G1 Climax started yesterday, and that is big tournament in Japan, and it's phenomenal. So we're giving all the good information to help people understand what the hell's going on. And then just regular updates on the Brit Res scene, because everything's insane at the minute. Everywhere is just blowing up. So
yes,
I was busy.
To be fair, though, the wrestling industry at the moment is probably the busiest or the best it's been in a long time.
It really is. It really is. And we've got loads of cross promotion stuff going, not just in the big leagues, but also in Brit Res. So
I love that you cover everything. So if you are really like wanting to dip your toe into any form of or level of wrestling, Nikki is the person to go to. It's so good though, because you will find a lot of people who just focus mainly on the glitz and the glams of it all, but then there's the real like underdogs, underbelly of it, and I love the fact that you cover it.
You've got to see where they all came from.
Well, that's it. It reminds me of how I got in. I got into wrestling because of old school English wrestling that used to be on the telly that I watched with my granddad. So I love the fact that it's still there, and the likes of yourself is making sure that it's not lost.
Yeah, we don't want it to get lost. Yeah, thank you. It's like, and also if I don't know, someone in the Discord will. We have a tab for every promotion, and then there's like indie promotions, and now I'm getting asked to make tabs for certain indie promotions as well now. So if you're not sure, come into the Discord. We've got watch suggestions, links, everything, and everyone's genuinely so nice. Yeah. You can ask a question, no one's going to talk to you like an idiot. So
well, that's good.
And we're going to do our best to get Nikki as the UK Dave Meltzer, so he can fuck off, and we'll get her to replace.
Oh my God, no! Don't assign me that. I'm nice.
When she starts giving
I
out
don't know who
5-star
that
masses
person
in there, so it'll be fine. We need a Nikki 5-star. That's what it is. If you smell what if you smell what the
Right,
Nikki is
every
cooking,
time Nikki comes on, her name is Nikki 5-star. That's it. It has to be.
I'll take it. I'll come up with some kind of John Cena-esque.
but yes. But as I said, like we do promote the Nikki's like Discord a lot on with the Nerdy Up North stuff because, like I say, she is a friend, and we hope to get like Nikki involved with a lot more Nerdy Up North stuff as well. So see where that can go. I know she's busy, but fuck it, I'm going to try and take her as well.
I'm not that busy. I'm all your guys. I'm trying to get in. Jake said it's like, oh, Jake went to watch some wrestling recently. What did he enjoy it? Did you enjoy it?
Oh, Jake.
Ask him, he will tell you.
Oh no, I know. It's been. I'm excited to hear all about it.
Jake and Laura, Sloop, they've been doing it as well. But Sloop is a huge wrestling fan. But we had a travesty the other day as well because some guys, Mike has been running a wrestling poll on the Nerdy Up North page to find the best wrestler. And Mick Foley got beaten by the Undertaker, so he can fuck off.
Disgusting.
Foley is God.
I love the fact that Jake was like, "It's a run-in," and you're like coming in to save the day. Like, I'm not having this.
No, Foley's not. Mick's not going out like that. But yeah. So yes, Sammy will be live.
Yeah.
Well, not be live. There'll be a new episode of Monsters going out tomorrow, and I am very jealous of this episode because I would love to talk about these movies as well. But Sammy beat us to it. So what you're talking about?
And I apologise. It was we are back to double features, and we are going with the 80s and mid 2000s. A Fright Night.
Yes.
Ooh.
May lose some friends over this one. Not sure how that's going to lie. Not going to lie to you. I got some opinions, and gladly I'll do a disclaimer to say that they're all mine. But yeah.
But
go on.
Just to say, we won't be live in the chat tomorrow night as well, unfortunately.
No, we will not. We will not, because we are heading to the BBC studios where we're going to be on our best behaviour.
Yes.
But the episode of Monsters Up North is at 8 o'clock on YouTube. All episodes from this week will be available for your listening pleasure on Tuesday.
Yes. And then we'll be recording a new episode on Tuesday night where Sammy is guesting on the Toons episode where we'll be talking about the first episode of the Raccoons.
She is almost dominated. Well, she has almost dominated every single podcast that we have going. that was pointed out on the last episode of Toons. I have one yet to go after Toons.
Yes. Too many podcasts. Cancel them off.
Too much recording.
But yes, and then the Trekking Boys will be back on Friday. Then Sunday we are finishing off the blockbuster season with the Indiana Jones franchise. So we'll be talking about. So we've got a lot of movies to catch up on this week.
Fuck me, I have. Fun. But also, please remember, if you are on YouTube and this is where you're watching us from, to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode from any of the podcasts from Nerdy Up North.
Very much so. And just to say as well, next month we are going to be delving into the superhero films as well. So we're doing Constantine,
good, guys.
Batman 1989, we've got Hellboy, and we've got what was it? Mystery Men. Mystery Men. Yeah, so yes,
I'm finally getting him to talk about Batman 1989.
Yes.
It's taken 3 fucking years.
I'm gonna get ganged up on this.
It's gonna be fun.
Yes. But yes, so lots planned, lots of interesting things. We are very excited. Thank you everyone who's been in the chat. Like say, you've made us laugh.
Yes.
Chris, Lee, I don't know, and Kelly, bless you. I nearly cried a few times laughing at looking at you.
Kelly, you have been absolutely great. Thank you for reminding us that there's a cow going across the screen. We really appreciated that.
But yes, I had to turn it off every so often because I didn't want to freak them out. But yes, trying to think, there's nothing else to say. So yes, same bat time, same bat channel.
Stay nerdy, everyone.
Bye.